Today's video is brought to you by Expressvpn, but more on that later. You guys ever have random celebrities that you're really mad at for no reason? You've never met them in person, there's just something about them. If so, you're not alone. I have this issue with Adam Driver. Super mad at him, don't know why. Brie Larson. So mad at her. No earthly idea why.
He can help you sue the Diet Coke company for non-performance.
That one lady who played the Gone Girl in the movie Gone Girl, very, very mad at her. But the point is, sometimes the opposite is also true. Sometimes there's actors and actresses that I love and adore no matter what kind of trash they create. For example, Victoria Justice. I love her, even though A Perfect Pairing was trash. It wasn't her fault. Same thing with Amanda Bynes.
I am a Jew.
Obsessed. She's the Man was also not her fault. And the same goes with Zoe Dutch. I think she is a doll, a gem, can do no wrong, and I will never hold against her that she was in today's terrible movie, Something from Tiffany's. The brand new rom-com just released on Amazon Prime on December 9th, based on the novel of the same name, that is full of every character trope you could think of, predictable lines, no chemistry between the main characters, and so incredibly much bread.
Bread. Croissant.
Croissant. Focaccia. Ciabatta.
Bread.
I love bread.
I mean, if you thought you had seen the movie with the most bread when we watched Adventures of Food Boy, you were wrong.
Bread.
I would have reviewed and made fun of this movie anyway, even without the bread, but the bread is next level insane.
It's a lot.
There's also other stuff in the movie, it's not just bread. And I can't wait to talk to you about it all today, but I just have one question before we start, and that is, are you bready for Something from Tiffany's?
Yes.
I thought so. So let's get into it, kids, but first, a word from today's sponsor. Hey kids, do you like surfing around the internet? Like that one kid who was surfing around the internet?
I was searching around the internet.
Well then you absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, need a VPN. Which is why I love today's sponsor, Expressvpn. You guys, sending data over an unencrypted internet connection is kind of like sending a postcard, you know? Everybody can see it, including your mailman. So whether you're connected to an unencrypted network with your phone, your tablet, your MacBook, whatever, you are sending countless pieces of information out into the digital world that can be seen and intercepted by countless different parties before it makes it to its final destination. But ExpressVPN creates that sort of secure tunnel between your device and the internet. In other words, it puts an envelope around your postcard so the mailman can't see it, nor can Mrs. Jones next door. Allow me to demonstrate if you're still not getting it. I'm your data, okay? Here's ExpressVPN. I'm not Jamie's what? I'm not Jamie's data. It's not me. Do you get it now? It is very important, and I only recommend ExpressVPN as it is top rated by CNET, The Verge, Mashable, TechRadar, and many more. They have servers in 94 countries, so you can change your location to nearly any country in the world and watch whatever you want if something you want to watch is not available in your area. And one of the reasons it's the world-leading VPN is because of the fast speeds. There's never any buffering, so you can stream in HD quality no problem. So if you want to protect yourself online, find out how you can get 3 months free of ExpressVPN by visiting expressvpn.com/French, or just click the link in my description box below or in the pinned comment. And again, for those in the back, that is 3 months free of ExpressVPN by going to expressvpn.com/French. Thank you, ExpressVPN, for protecting me from creeps and for sponsoring a portion of today's video. And now back to the show. So the movie opens at Tiffany's, imagine that, where we find out for the third time that we've watched this movie that it was produced by Reese Witherspoon. Wow, that's just literally insane. I don't know how Reese Witherspoon would talk.
Okay, so this one's called a cushion cut and the other one's called a
Princess cut.
Okay, so this is one of the main characters, Ethan, and yes, let's just get this out of the way right now. He's a beautiful man. But you will forget, because he will spread cheese atop this movie so thick.
Cheese.
You would think the cheese was me.
kinda. If you have time, we could. What?
Sorry, anyway, they are shopping for an engagement ring for Ethan's fiancee, Vanessa, who is played by Shay Mitchell. He's joined by his daughter, Daisy, who, like most children of single parents in movies, is 18 times more emotionally intelligent than other kids. She's not like other kids.
Do you have a presidential cut?
So they pick out the ring. Meanwhile, this guy, Gary, comes in and is also looking for something for his lovely lady.
I was hoping that one of those blue boxes would do the trick.
So everybody has their gifts, they're leaving the store, and Gary straight up yeets Daisy, which her father does nothing about, and then he gets hit by a car, or at least that's what it sounded like.
Oh my God, Dad, is he okay?
That's right, little Daisy. Those who yeet get yeeted. So Ethan rushes to Gary's side to help him. He sets his Tiffany's bag down next to Gary's, and we can all predict what happens next. But what none of us could predicted was this part.
You call 911?
No, but there's an ambulance right there.
There was already an ambulance that happened to be pulling up next to the scene of the accident that didn't already have a destination?
There's an ambulance right there.
Okay. Weird, but okay.
Hi, I'm a paramedic. I got this.
That's something a paramedic would for sure say.
I'm a doctor. I'm a nurse.
So then we cut over to our other main character, Rachel, played by the lovely Zoe Dutch, who, like I said, I think is an absolute doll and a national treasure, and no one is allowed to make fun of her or her fictional character, Rachel, even though she talks to her soup.
You need harissa. You needed harissa.
We also meet Rachel's roommate and bestie, Terry, who was actually my favorite character. They actually gave her character some humor and substance, and she's super cynical like me.
How'd you have such a good attitude?
So I forgot to say this. Rachel is Gary's girlfriend, you know, Gary who got hit by a car. And she is busy cooking a beautiful anniversary dinner for them, which Gary can't make it to, you know, because of the whole getting hit by a car thing.
Hi, honey. You on your way?
Nope, he's not. He's flat as a board in an alleyway, just like my grandpa's childhood cat, Watermelon Mew Mew. Nah, I'm just kidding. He's totally fine. He just has like a mild concussion and some memory loss. I just wanted you to know about Watermelon Mew Mew. Also, he doesn't seem to care that he got hurt at all. He only seems to care that he cracked his phone.
My phone.
Hey, what's the snack situation here?
So while Rachel is leaving the hospital, Ethan and Daisy are arriving to the hospital to visit Gary. How they knew his name and which hospital he ended up at, your guess is as good as mine. Perhaps he asked the miraculous paramedic that appeared in the miraculous ambulance. Anyway, Rachel overhears them talking to the head nurse, who tells them they have to go away.
You guys can't linger here.
So they go to the hospital cafeteria to get to know each other.
Are you a stripper?
We find out everyone's professions. So Ethan is a creative writing professor at UCLA, but he's also a published author. He writes books. And Rachel owns a couple bakeries. But more importantly, this conversation made me uncomfortable.
Oh, right. So, yeah.
That is what I'm doing. I gotta go.
Sleep. You just met the biggest consumer of bread in America.
Was that the first? I think that was the first mention of bread. Just you wait.
Bread.
So she tells them, hey, you guys should stop by my bakery sometime so I can properly thank you. Thank them for what, exactly? Kneeling over your boyfriend's body and not calling 911 because there was already an ambulance there?
There's an ambulance right there.
Anyway, she extends this invitation, and to me it was just kind of like a formality, like that thing you do when you meet someone and you're like, oh yeah, come by the thing sometime, and they're like, yeah, but you don't actually do it. It's just kind of like you're being nice. Well, Ethan took it to heart, and he straight up does come into her restaurant the literal next day.
Hi.
I wasn't sure you'd be here.
Too soon, Ethan. Too soon. So he walks in, and he can tell that she's super busy and really overwhelmed.
I'm in a rush.
How much is this?
What is this?
I want a coffee.
I've been here 15 minutes.
Can I buy all the Cornetti and 5 coffees?
So he just starts working there with her, and it's really bad.
What would you like?
They do the thing. You know, it's kind of like a montage. It's not a montage, but it's something similar where they play loud, cute music and they just kind of bump into each other and bark out workery stuff.
2 waters or just 1 water?
So then these two people in separate committed relationships decide to enjoy some boozy hot chocolate together while Rachel talks to hers.
You are my friend. You're delicious and you make me happy.
Hey, look, I don't judge, okay? That's a special bond that you have with your hot chocolate. You want to talk to it? You go right ahead. We stan a quirky queen. Only because it's played by Zoe Dutch, okay?
Talking to my culinary creations.
So then she gives Ethan a loaf of bread sans any packaging that she touched with her grubby little worker hands.
What?
And it reminds him of, you guessed it, his late wife.
My late wife and Daisy, they used to bake bread together.
I don't want to make fun of this part. I really don't. I'm not gonna, okay? I know how grief works. I know that you can be triggered by something as small as an unhygienic naked bread loaf. I understand that in many rom-coms, there's a late wife and a handsome widower. But what I don't understand is why the writers made him say that his wife was like a song.
She was like a song.
Sorry, this is a cynical person's nightmare. A lot of cheese. So then the two people in committed relationships take a late night stroll together to develop their inappropriate relationship. And she tells him all about how she loves to bake and she has such a passion for it because while messy, something beautiful comes from the mess.
Something beautiful always comes out of the mess.
A beautiful mess, you guys. What an original concept. Someone should put that on a sign for people named Trish to hang in their kitchens. Anywho, Rachel tells Ethan that he needs to start doing things with his heart, not his head. Well, she's got a gullet full of gluten.
Maybe you need to start doing things with your heart.
So then Ethan invites her to his secret spot, if she has time.
I mean, I guess if a little time we could drop these off at the shelter and then check it out quickly.
Of course. Of course she's gonna drop leftover food off at the homeless shelter. After she eats half of it, of course. So he takes her to his secret spot, which is just like a piece of concrete next to the bridge. And he's like, can you believe it? No one's ever been here. And she's like, I maybe have.
Yeah, maybe a few times.
Wow, dang.
Are you cringing yet? If not, you will. So he starts to kind of open up, get a little vulnerable. He explains to Rachel that this top secret spot of his inspired his next novel about this little girl who finds light in the darkness, and it's this very moving, vulnerable spiel. And she's like, that reminds me of bread.
This is your cornetto.
Yeah, I learned from this movie that a cornetto is the cousin to a croissant, and it has a weird amount of screen time in this movie.
Cornetto.
So they both get texts from their significant others, Gary and Vanessa, and they're like, oh yeah, oops, I forgot I was deeply involved with someone. Gotta go. G2G and TTYL.
Merry Christmas.
I'm Jewish, by the way.
What a fine-looking Jew.
So the next morning, you guys, is where the big bamboozle occurs. So it's time for everybody to open their presents. So Rachel gifts Gary a watch because he's late constantly. And of course, Rachel gets Vanessa's engagement ring and Vanessa gets Rachel's earrings.
They're so cute.
So what killed me about this was not necessarily the switcheroo, because we saw that coming, but rather both men's responses to the switcheroo. If this were real life, Ethan would obviously have been like, hold up, no, that's not what I got you. I took home the wrong gift. I must have accidentally switched it when I kneeled next to the body of that guy who yeeted our daughter, but no, he just goes with it. And so does Gary.
I'm sweating.
With Gary, they at least made it make a small amount of sense because he is supposed to be suffering from memory loss. So he just chalks it up to that, I guess. He's like, I guess I bought an engagement ring in the 2 days that I can't remember, but also, how far back does his memory go, you know? Wouldn't you remember if you planned on proposing to your girlfriend soon? The answer is yes, you would know, and therefore, this is baloney. So Gary's like, hey, you know, now that you mention it, I think I do want to marry you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Even though I find you super annoying, super messy, and I never seem to want to hang out.
It's just kind of a mess in here.
Gary comes up with quite the proposal speech for someone who wasn't prepared to propose.
You made me into a better artist, a better person, and I have you to thank for that.
Yeah, Rachel, he has you to thank for that thing that you did. What's that called? Redundant? It's redundant.
So, will you?
Why was that the most anticlimactic proposal ever? They didn't even play background music. So the next day, Gary's wheels start turning and he looks up his receipt, his e-receipt from Tiffany's, and realizes he only spent just over $300. So he clearly did not buy this several $1,000 Tiffany's engagement ring. And so he's about to leave work. He's a tattoo artist, by the way. He's about to leave work to go meet Rachel for dinner, but then decides, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and do another literal tattoo on someone. Rachel can wait.
This guy requested you, man.
Okay, tattoos take literal hours, first of all. Second of all, the place is closing, and this guy thinks he can just waltz right in and request Gary.
Gary!
No.
Makes me not miss being a hairstylist at all. Thanks, YouTube. Anyway, he of course doesn't show up. He stands Rachel up, so she ends up eating bread with Ethan, and he sees the ring he bought on her finger, and instead of telling her the truth, which is what he came there to do, he just eats more bread. Big, huge bread fan.
Biggest consumer of bread in America.
Like as big of a fan of bread as Oprah and Breadward.
Bread.
So Ethan inquires, he's like, hey, Rachy Poo, is Gary like a good guy? Like, would he return a $5 bill he found on the ground to its rightful owner? And Rachel's like, yeah, in fact, I have a heartwarming story that specifically answers this specific question. She tells this lovely story about the day her and Gary met. She says she met him when she went to get her wrist tattooed. He was the tattoo artist. And to get the tattoo, she had to remove her late mother's bracelet. She left the bracelet at Gary's tattoo shop, got all the way home, realized it was gone, freaked out, went back to the train station.
And there was Gary.
So Gary apparently went 8 stops out of his way just to return her late mother's bracelet.
And the longest answer ever, yes, he is the kind of guy who would return $5.
Except it's not $5, it's a several $1,000 hair Tiffany's ring.
You really do have a thing for bread.
I do, yeah. It's like,
Yeah, this one was rough, you guys, this scene. I mean, Zoe Dutch's delivery is literally flawless. Actually, both of the guy who played Ethan is actually a good actor too. They both almost made me like this movie. Almost. But I did think Ethan's character kind of fudged the bucket during this scene.
yeah, it's fun. Weird. I do, yeah. It's like, yeah. Let me ask. Yeah, no. That's, yeah. That is,
That's a lot of carbs, you guys. I need a break. It's time for a short ad break, and when we come back, tons more bread. See you there.
Right?
Vanessa, hey, I'm so excited Ethan came in. I bet it was your encouragement.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, you know how Ethan's a writer and obviously is successful enough to where he could afford a multi-$1,000 engagement ring from Tiffany's? Yeah, Shay Mitchell doesn't like that. I mean, Vanessa doesn't like that. She doesn't want him to write. She doesn't like when he does his job. She doesn't think his books are bready to be published. The creators of this movie just want you so bad to root for Ethan and Rachel. Ethel?
Can anybody top me off?
They want you to root for Ethel and not the relationships that they're already in. So they really try to make you kind of not like Vanessa, and honestly, it's working. I'm mad at her. In fact, I hope she steps in something gross. Yes. That's what you get for that Biore ad, Shay.
Even waterproof mascara.
You're forgiven now, and we can all pretend that it never happened. Kind of like you pretended to actually use the product you were promoting. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. That was funny though. You can't deny that.
Oh, God. And these are new. Taxi?
Why was that even in there? So, on yet another inappropriate late night stroll with Rachel and Ethan, they really start to fall for each other.
I love this.
okay.
See guys, they finish each other's sentences. Isn't that cute? How come this guy from the singing group is not singing very enthusiastically? Was it just me, or is it like a tiny bit off key in some parts?
This is ridiculous.
Fully agree. So then Rachel's like, look, Ethan, I'm really sorry that Gary didn't show up tonight, but did you really come to see him tonight, or?
Are you okay to get home from here?
What?
Wow. What a gentleman. Chivalry is not dead, girls. Reminds me of the Rigoletto guy.
Now come, I'll take you part of the way home.
So Rachel gets home and she has 3 missed calls from Gary Wilson. You know, she has to have his first and last name stored in her phone in case she forgets her fiance's last name.
Ethan, I called you. Where'd you go?
Sorry,
Is there something you need to tell me?
Nothing.
She's a nicer girlfriend than I would have been. That's all I'm saying.
Dry ingredients. 2 cups of flour. Lighten the flour.
Are you watching Ina Garten again?
All-purpose flour.
What is your obsession with her?
Nothing that you need to worry about.
Look, you have a problem, okay? If you're not eating bread, you're thinking about it. If you're not thinking about it, you're talking about it. And if you're not talking about it, you're watching people bake it. You need help.
I know.
When we get back to LA, you're getting therapy.
Okay.
All right, come on. It's time for bed. Bed! Dang it! So Ethan finally goes to confront Gary at the tattoo shop and hopefully get his ring back. And Gary's like, hey, Ethan, I know you from the night of my accident.
Thank you so much for what you did, man.
Still don't know what Ethan did and why he's being treated like a hero for kneeling over Gary's body for a sec and not calling 911.
It was nothing, man.
Exactly. It was nothing. You know what? Hold on. I need to watch this scene again, right? We gotta make sure we're not missing something here. Gary gets hit by a car. Ethan runs over to him, kneels down, offers to call 911. Guy says no. Miraculous paramedic comes over on her own accord. Ethan backs away. I was just making sure I wasn't missing something, but I should have known. I never do. Anyway, Ethan politely asks Gary for the ring back, explains that he literally saw it on Rachel's finger, to which Gary responds,
I don't know what you're talking about.
So it appears that Gary is maybe not a stand-up guy who would return a $5 bill to its rightful owner after all. Okay, Gary, so now you know that Ethan has been hanging out with your fiance.
You saw Rachel last night.
So do you not realize that he could easily tell her this entire story? Like, why would he think he wasn't gonna get caught? LOL. I actually really thought Ethan was gonna go tattle on Gary, but he doesn't even have to. Rachel finds out about the whole thing on her own accord, and she goes to Tiffany's herself and asks how to care for her engagement ring, and the sales lady's like, never forget a ring I sell. Congratulations to all three of you. Uh-oh. So Rachel is obviously upset. She goes to work to bake a ton of bread because when Rachel's upset, she bakes a ton of bread.
She's on her third batch of rye.
Well, it is a bread store.
That's her thinking bread.
Gary comes in, she confronts him about the ring. He apologizes. He's like, look, so I took someone else's ring, okay? But I still want to marry you. And Rachel, being the forgiving sweetheart that she is, she gives him the benefit of the doubt and forgives him. Meanwhile, Ethan and Daisy show up to the breadery, and I was like, oh snap, stuff's gonna go down. Ethan and Gary are gonna fight, obviously.
Okay. I'm gonna sneak out back.
Dang it. I don't like violence or anything. I just wanted to see Gary get slapped, you know? So like I said, Ethan and Daisy come in. Daisy starts working at the breadery with Rachel. And then Ethan comes up and Rachel's like, hey, Ethan, look, I'm really sorry. I know about everything that happened. Thanks so much for being such a good guy. Sorry I wore your engagement ring for like a week. And also here's some bread.
I made this one special for you all to share together.
In a package this time. Thank goodness. Okay, so Ethan takes the bread home for family dinner and just watch.
My turn.
Wait, I wasn't done.
Whoa, I wasn't
Well, would you look at that? The engagement ring made its way back to its rightful owner. It wants to be found. The ring made the perilous journey across Middle Earth to the Shire via bread. So everybody at the table is stunned, including Ethan. But again, he just goes with it. And he goes ahead and proposes. And here I thought their relationship was crumbling. I mean, I really thought Vanessa and Ethan were toast. Truly, I truly believed that everything went awry. But I was wrong. They want to get married and grow mold together. I mean old together. Okay, sorry, I'm done. For now.
Will you marry me?
Yes. What a unique way to propose. So original.
Okay, again, let me get this straight, just so I'm clear and I'm not missing anything. So Rachel baked this several thousand doll hair Tiffany's engagement ring into a loaf of bread instead of just giving it back. Or was it an accident? They didn't show her doing it, nor did they even show a hint of her like being up to no good or having a trick up her sleeve. So if it was an accident, that's one thing. But if it was on purpose, nothing but questions. First of all, what if he threw it away? What if he forgot about it? What if Daisy had taken a bite of it and choked on it? In the event of her choking, do they own a life vac or a dechoker? But most importantly, what if that wasn't the exact moment that Ethan wanted to propose? What if he had changed his mind entirely? Rachel, you can't just force a bread proposal on someone, okay? I'm really sorry for yelling at you because you're not a real person. You're a fictional character and you're played by Zoe Dutch. So, sorry. I just thought it was a crummy thing to do. Well, Vanessa is uber excited.
So original.
And she wants to celebrate their engagement at the bakery that played a role in her engagement. So she calls to make a reservation at Rachel's Straunt for New Year's Eve, which happens to be the same exact time and place as Rachel and Gary's engagement. Where were you on that one, Terry?
I think we can squeeze you in.
Still not understanding Terry's motives here. Terry knows about the ring switcheroo and everything.
Wow, that is way worse than I thought.
Why would you want your best friend's engagement party to be uncomfortable? Why would you take the reservation from the family that has the engagement ring that Gary stole and almost ruined his relationship over? Hope she explains herself later.
I don't know. It was dumb.
Oh, okay. Anywho, back at the engagement party. So Gary brings his friend. Can't remember his name. Cliff? I don't know. Not important.
I was with Gary the same day you two met.
So this guy basically unknowingly or accidentally rats Gary out, and he tells the true story of what happened the night Rachel lost her mother's bracelet.
Best late night text ever, right? Went to Queens for a hookup, left knowing your future wife.
Yeah, it turns out Gary didn't make that long, beautiful trip to Historia to return Rachel's bracelet, but instead it was to hook up with a girl named Amber.
That's why you came out to Astoria that night? Not to give me my bracelet back?
Wait, then why did he have the bracelet with him? Was he gonna give it to Amber? Who even is Amber? I wanna talk to her.
I don't wanna talk.
So Rachel's like, I have had enough. I can't do it anymore. And she dumps Gare Bear right then and there.
It's just too hard.
And just as they are about to leave, wouldn't you know it, Ethan and Vanessa and Daisy show up, and it gets weird.
He proposed to her, she got the ring, and everything can go back to the way
No.
it's-
Sorry, the ring. Are you talking about mine? They're getting
We
married.
actually discussed it. We're not getting married.
Wait, you're not?
No, we just broke.
Why do you care if I marry her or not?
Is there spinach in this? Because I'm allergic.
This literally makes no sense. Actually, one part does.
And I assume you're the one who put it in the bread. Did you even mean to propose that day, or?
I not that day.
My point exactly. What would possess Rachel to put the ring in the bread? What was she thinking? Just, sorry, Ethan. Hope you didn't have anything special planned. You're gonna propose how I decide you propose. Bread.
Bread.
Actually, I'm kind of craving some bread right now. I'm gonna DoorDash Panera.
A few minutes later.
Don't mind if I do. Anyway, Vanessa and Ethan get into a fight, and they realize they don't want to get married because she hates New York and hates that he writes, and he likes New York and likes writing, so they break up.
That sucks.
So now everyone's broken up. I wonder what Rachel's gonna do.
I'm gonna go home, eat the shit out of this cornetto, and pass out.
Same. So then Daisy, being the incredibly emotionally intelligent child that she is, convinces her dad, like, hey, Dad, I know you literally just broke up with your fiance Shay Mitchell this morning, but you should go after Rachel.
Rachel might be white, but the girl can cook.
Yeah, and she even seasons her food with engagement rings. Hold on, Daisy, how do you even know she can cook? All you've had is her bread. So Ethan takes his daughter's advice.
Get your ass up and let's go.
You grounded.
I love when adults in movies take their kids' relationship advice. And he's like, you know what? Yeah. Forget my literal fiance, Vanessa, that I just broke up with 3 hours ago. I love the girl I've had 4 conversations with. So he sends flowers with a message to the Straunt for Rachel, but they're intercepted by Terry, who thinks that they're for her from her wife.
Why would I send you flowers?
Therefore, Rachel doesn't get the flowers in the card asking her to meet Ethan and Daisy next to this bridge, and Ethan can't even check to see if the flowers were delivered because he doesn't have his phone.
How are we supposed to know if they were delivered?
Which is a weirdly prominent thing in this movie that I forgot to tell you about.
You got my phone? Can't find it. My phone is MIA again.
So they realize the error and they get the message to Rachel super late. She leaves the Straunt, hops in a cab, runs across town to find Ethan and Daisy, and she's like, hey, I'm here.
I got it. I got your note. I got it a little late.
Yeah, Ethan, she got your note a little late and somehow turned it from a cardstock card into a tiny folded up piece of paper.
You said that you thought that there was something between us, and that if I thought so too, that I should come here.
You guys could have just let the viewer see the note instead of having Rachel explain to Ethan what his note said. Anyway, they confess their love to each other and kiss. Sans any chemistry, right? Wasn't that weird? I liked both characters, but they had no chemistry together.
Are you okay to get home from here?
Flash forward 1 year later, everyone works at the Straunt now. Every character in this movie has worked at Rachel's restaurant besides Gary. Anyway, it's Christmas Eve, so the place is really busy. Ethan calls for a toast that he's clearly making about Rachel.
To this beautiful, talented, kind person who could probably achieve world peace. Knows a lot about semicolons.
What are you doing right now?
Rude. Way to kill the moment. What was I saying?
She's my cornetto.
Excuse me a sec. So he brings in those singers, you know, from earlier, who are now on pitch, but slightly off time. Anyway, he proposes with what appears to be the engagement ring he originally bought Vanessa.
Are you talking about mine?
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Rachel, will you marry me?
Yes.
And whew, that was actually a fun one. It wasn't that hard for me to get through. Couldn't find the budget. Let's read some reviews because they are so funny. Here's one from an IMDb user named Contagious. It's entitled Save Your Time. Don't watch this hot garbage. Yes, super boring, underdeveloped characters, and the all of a sudden they are in love. I enjoy a good rom-com, but this was pathetic acting and a mix-up that could have just been dealt with lawyers rather than the constant back and forth nonsense. Don't watch this hot garbage. Yes, super boring, underdeveloped characters, and the all of a sudden they are in love. I enjoy a good rom-com, but this was pathetic actors rather than the constant back and forth nonsense. Don't watch. Yes, super boring. All of a sudden they are in love. I enjoy a good rom. This was pathetic acting and a mix-up that constant back and forth nonsense. I wonder what this person thinks about this movie. Here's another good one. Words mean things. They say the word cornetto way too much. I love when people notice the same stuff as me, but also I don't because I wanted to be the only one who noticed. We get it. They're the Italian version of the croissant. Side note, as an Italian American, I can tell you that croissants are objectively better. The leads have zero chemistry. Thank you. Honestly, forget my whole movie review and just listen to this person's words. Ray Rezo 708. I feel so validated. It was bad, you guys, but as usual, I love it. You can't help but to love a beautifully shot rom-com with good actors, even though there's no chemistry and too much bread. I gotta go, guys. It's past my bread time. Also, I wanted to tell you guys, a couple months ago, I wanted to temporarily deactivate my Twitter because it was like getting super toxic and annoying and I was sick of hearing about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. And then when I went to reactivate it, I found out that I waited too long and that my whole account was gone. I'm talking the Twitter account I had since I was in high school in 2007. I only had 20,000 followers. It wasn't like, I wasn't Twitter famous, but I am trying to sort of get it back. So if any of you could come over to my Twitter, I would truly appreciate it. I don't have a lot of cool stuff to say. But I like interacting with you guys over there. Join us on Patreon if you want to see any behind the scenes footage from today's green screen shoot. And check out my other social accounts for other fun content. I love you all and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Should this be the thumbnail? This is hella good. Look at my freaking hair. Red. God. Who eats this? Why would you want this? I'm upset. Don't mind if I do. I said no powdered sugar. Maybe I could spank it off. What is this? Oh, of course. Of course she's gonna drop leftover food off at the homeless shelter. Only before...